Welcome to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Hey, that's me. Hi, and welcome to Positive Talk. Our show features the best positive stories and people from around the globe as we endeavor to answer the universal question of why am I here and what is my purpose? Understanding that can change everything, and knowing your greatness is fundamental to living your best life. So join us right now as together we work to create the adventure of our lifetime. I'm really excited about having the 3 or 2.5 of you here anyway. This is you're listening to Positive Talk, and my name is Kevin McDonald. We're going to talk about astrology today. We've got 3 wonderful people. One of them is there is her picture. Well done, ma'am. And
best I can do today.
And April and Christina, they are astrologers of note, and they know a lot about a lot. And so we're going to talk about a lot today. We weren't able to get together last month, and so we're going to talk kind of about August and September and going into the fall and all that kind of good stuff. Because they tell me, not that I would know, but they tell me there's a lot going on. But first of all, Dana, how are you?
Good, doing good. For some reason, my camera is not working today, so I'm just joining in. I can hear everyone, and I will be naturally chiming in where I feel. But these ladies are absolutely capable and full of so much wisdom. So I just love being with April and Christina and Kevin. It's a fun combo.
It is indeed, and we can talk about Mercury in retrograde because apparently it is having an effect here. So
sure is.
That is our favorite excuse. So
it's true.
we use it for those of our audience who have no idea. They may have heard the term Mercury retrograde, but they have no idea what it means. Well, okay, what does it mean?
Ooh, can I explain retrograde? I love explaining the science of retrograde.
Good. Yeah. Then please do.
Okay. So all the planets out in the solar system are orbiting the sun at different speeds. So, when you're on the freeway and you're driving and there's somebody that's driving next to you, and there's a moment where you wonder if you're going backwards or if they're going backwards because you're going the same speed when one of you is about to overtake the other. Have you all experienced that? So that's what happens. And retrograde planets is something that has been observed for millennia because it looks from our perspective on Earth like the planets are moving backwards. I want to confirm they are not actually moving backwards. It just looks like they're moving backwards. It's an optical illusion. But from our perspective here on Earth, it impacts us in a unique way when the planets go retro.
You mean like that?
Like that. I think Kevin, like you and I are last one standing. So
yeah, boy, no kidding. So while she gets herself together, can you pick it up from there, April?
Yes, absolutely. So it really is interesting because all of the planets go retrograde. It's just some of the outer planets feel like they move so slowly. So we feel them a little less intense because going back to like the freeway analogy, right? When you're going really fast on a freeway and you have to hit those brakes, you feel it. And so that's why you're like, you end up like, kind of your body moves with it. And that's why Mercury, because Mercury is the fastest moving planet. So as it's moving around, it actually, when it hits the brakes and starts to go backwards, it's kind of that like, oh, like we're feeling that energy of the communication, technology, mindset stuff. Like everything is this like, okay, put on the brakes. And now time to go backwards a little bit. Like let's rethink things through. Let's reassess. Let's rest a little bit. Let's bring in some of these, the energy of like, okay, take a breather, because moving forward so fast all the time actually is going to burn you out. So come on back to yourself. Let's work with this energy for a little bit before we go and hit the gas again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Now, can I give an analogy? It's like if you are watching a car and it's got spokes rather than just a solid wheel,
Yeah.
that and when it's moving forward, sometimes it looks like it's actually moving backwards.
Yeah. It is interesting that definite like trick of the eye for sure. So it's all about the perspective. You know those magic eye books when you had to kind of like make your eyes weird? That it kind of is that like, what is the word? The optical illusion. Yes, thank you. So but retrograde really does energetically have some impact on us, specifically the Mercury in retrograde. So sorry, Christina, you cut out a little bit, so I popped back in. Luckily we've got each other.
Glad. Yeah. I'm celebrating Lionsgate in a very small town in Idaho right now, so signal is not great. Keep going. I'm sure it's awesome.
That's beautiful. I'm glad. Speaking of that actually is a beautiful energy that happens in August, the Lionsgate energy. Christina, do you want to give us some information on that? I feel like you of everyone has really like harnessed that energy the best.
Sure, I'd love to. Have we concluded with the Mercury retrograde?
I think so, Dana, unless you've got something to add.
No, that's great. I think it was covered well.
Awesome. Okay, Lionsgate. Almost everybody's heard about Lionsgate. And so let me tell you astrologically what Lionsgate is. And I do have some opinions about Lionsgate that some people like. I have some unique opinions about Lionsgate. So I'm just putting that out there. Go do your own research, feel into what works for you. But here's the actual stellar lineup of Lionsgate. So the star Sirius, Orion, the constellation, and Earth all line up. They get aligned while the sun is in Leo. And this actually happens over, like the pyramids of Giza were, like they line up and align accordingly. And the Sphinx faces the star Sirius and is looking straight at it also. So Lion's Gate portal is something that's actually been seen for millennia and honored as such. And so we're here with the sun in Leo, lots of beautiful, creative, playful energy, courageous energy. And then we have this significant star lineup. And so Lionsgate portal opens around July 26th and it closes around August 12th and it peaks on August 8th. Now, here's some of my controversial things I have to say about it. So take it for what it's worth. So much of what's around Lionsgate is actually collective energy over astrological energy. Okay, so we do have this beautiful portal with the stellar lineup, but the Egyptians, when they were venerating this lineup, they were not using the Gregorian calendar, where in the 8th month, on the 8th day, it was like peaking out. So some of this is just collective energy, and the number 8 in numerology is powerful and potent. And this year in particular, we have an 8 month, an 8 day, and 2024, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4 is an 8 year. So we have triple eights. 8 is a number of manifestation, of infinity, as above, so below. 8 is a very, very auspicious number in numerology, and it's a great manifesting number in numerology. So we have a lot of collective energy around the manifesting potence of this day. And I just want to reiterate that as a collective, as humanity, we can create.
Oh no.
What can we create?
What's possible?
We're going to create something. I
You
don't
fill
know.
in the blank. You
Well-
fill in the blank.
Oh, I
Well,
love
while
that.
we're waiting for her to come back, April, I wanted to ask you, since you are astrologically in tune, and they've talked about this for years, that the Egyptians had something going on, that they recognized the astrological charts and how things lined up, and they took these really, excuse the expression, these big ass buildings, and they lined them up perfectly so that they would point to the way the stars were put together. It's just are you familiar with any of that?
Yeah, well, and really, there's a lot of lore around it, and some really great theories. I have, some of my own opinions around it. I think that I think they were brilliant. I think they were brilliant mathematicians. I kind of do think that I mean, we can see it anciently and throughout many different cultures. I actually graduated with my bachelor's in art history. So I did a lot of studying of like prehistoric cultures through their art, and even Egyptian and Mesopotamian and African, and all of these different cultures, and even like ancient Celtics. And like every culture really did understand that there was power and potency in the stars. We're not just on this planet alone. There was this connection and communication that was happening with the heavens. And so many of them built different structures, different ways of calculating, of understanding. And yeah, I think the Egyptians just did it in the most grandiose way possible. But at the same time, I think there's a lot that we know and that we don't know. And so it's so kind of going back to what Christina was saying, with collective energy and even with our own intuition, we get to decide what's right for us. We get to decide what it is that that makes the most sense and is actually the best use of our energy. So did that answer your question very well? I'm not sure.
Yes. Dana, do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, that's great. That's actually not an area of expertise that I have at all whatsoever. So I love April's insight, and I love what she has to share. And if you're interested, I mean, there's tons of stuff you can find all over the place. People who are really, really deep divers into this. The Gaia channel has a ton of great information too. There's just lots of great places you can find great information now. So
I read something and saw something just the other day. You're familiar, obviously, you talked about Celtic. You're familiar with Stonehenge.
Yes.
Do you know they found another one under the water?
really,
What?
Yes, look
Really?
it up. It's got the same configurations as Stonehenge does, only it's under the water. There
That's
is so much that we
huh?
don't know about the planet we live on, the people that were here, the use of the energies and the things. It's really is remarkable. And
Wow.
they found it not too long ago, and they
Lake
are,
Michigan, huh?
yeah, it really was interesting. And
Wow.
yeah, so that's that's my contribution. That's all I got. Um,
Nice.
We're
and but
all Go
I
ahead.
I really like the idea that Dana had at the end of the show. We're gonna pull some cards and for what's happening for people this fall and that sort of thing. So Christina's not back yet, so we're gonna hopefully she
She
comes back.
she's gonna just sign off for now, and she just wishes the best to everyone. And April and I have got it, so we're gonna continue that way.
Perfect. And so we can talk. So okay, so what do you want to talk about now? What's next?
Yeah.
I know what is next. Okay. So what's fun is, we've got this Lionsgate energy. We've got the Mercury in retrograde energy, which actually I do want to talk a little bit about, because a lot of the expectation around Mercury in retrograde is that it's a terrible time. It's not a good time to do anything. Just like hunker down and close your shades and just like weather it through. But when we understand what Mercury is doing, where the path that it's taking backward and forward, where it's like lighting up in the sky, and you can understand this even more personally for yourself. If you have your astrology natal chart and you look at the degrees of Virgo at 4 degrees to, I think it's Leo rats. I think it's 12 degrees Leo. I'll have to double check, but that is the path that Mercury is taking. Well, collectively, that Virgo and that Leo energy, this Mercury in retrograde really wants us to take the things in our life that aren't actually working super great, that maybe feel like there's some hard or rough or sharp or edges to them, and it wants us to polish it. It wants us to go on a journey. You know, if you've ever used a rock polisher, you know that to take a rough rock and make it nice and smooth and beautiful and something that you're like, oh, look at how beautiful this is. It's a process. It's a journey. And it starts with some grit, and it starts with some like rubbing and smoothing out and polishing up that area of your life. So if you've noticed like some things specifically since like mid-July have come up in your life where it's just like, oh my gosh, no matter what I do, this area, this part of my life just feels like it's just rough. It feels like it's sharp. It feels like it's not moving smoothly. That's the area that this Mercury in retrograde really wants you to nourish, wants you to notice, wants you to focus on and give some love and attention to, so you can polish it up during the journey of August. Mercury goes back direct about August 28th. So you get the entire month.
Can I add something to that, April?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yep.
If you want support in maybe some deeper journaling questions to find out what areas of your life are wanting that polishing, April, Christina, and I and our other partner, Alina, have actually created workbooks, monthly workbooks that work with the moon, working with the natural energies and rhythms of the moon. And April has that. She's holding our Leo new moon up right now. We can put those links to that in the show notes, but that is a really incredible subscription that we have available for people to participate in right now that has journaling questions, even music that kind of aligns with the energy on some of our books, fun facts, also with some practical application exercises, and then a prosperity check-in, because we're all about prosperity. So those are some things that we offer that are wonderful. We've put our whole heart into those to help you improve and live more intentionally in your life, to improve yourself using the cosmic energies of the month. So to improve your prosperity, which prosperity has to do with well-being in every aspect of your life. So we highly, highly recommend those. We do have coaching with that's possible too, but that would be just such a great place to start if these ideas are new for you. So in the show notes, we'll just add those links in, and you can go there and check that out if you'd like.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Kevin.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna talk a little bit about the workbooks, and like a couple of the questions to help you really connect to the energy that's happening in the sky right now. Like there's one that says, what luxurious or joyful activity can I indulge in today to reinforce my sense of abundance and self-worth? Like, come on, doesn't that sound delightful? That sounds so good.
It does, because the one thing that I know is that most people have got a problem with abundance and feeling like there's enough.
Yeah.
when the reality is there's always enough. We just
Always.
don't access it.
Yeah.
And understanding that you are an abundant creator can really help you, can't it?
Yeah. Absolutely. And
But
really feel like the energy of the universe has your back. You know, the energies that are here on this planet running have your back. That can feel so prosperous. I mean, I know as I have done these workbooks and really tuned in and tapped into that, it has expanded me in ways that I never even imagined, that have helped me so much to really see life and see the things that are going on in my life right now as such a gift and an opportunity to expand even further. So I've loved what they've done for me.
and we're talking with Dana Parker and April Millar, and Christina had to go because it's Mercury retrograde. But she had to go. We need to take a quick break, and then we will be right back with more. But stay with us, because whether you're listening now or in the future, because in the last quarter of the program, we're going to pull some cards so that April can interpret them for you of what's coming up. But when we come back next month on the 11th is my birthday. I would love to know what happens in September. There are a lot of September birthdays. You know why that there are a lot of September birthdays? Because it's 9 months after New Year's Eve. But
The holiday spirit.
The holiday spirit.
Holiday spirit reigns, and it rains in September what was planted in January. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Positive Talk Radio. We're going to take a short break to tell you audio and music creators about our commercial affiliate, Lyric Vids, specializing in creating amazing and engaging lyric videos. Are you looking to promote your videos in the most engaging way, but you don't have an animator and an editor? Whether you're an artist, musician, or business with a message to share, our lyric videos are designed to hook viewers and amplify your reach. Go to positivetalkradio.net/lyric vids. That's positivetalkradio.net/LYRICVIDS now to get started. Welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. We hope you enjoyed learning about our affiliate, Lyric Vids, who specialize in creating captivating animated lyric videos. Now let's get back to the show.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, and April Millar is here. She's a astrologer of note. She also does numerology and a bunch of other stuff. And Dana is right there with her, and we can see a beautiful picture of Dana, which is almost as good, but not
Almost.
well, almost. So September, and it is there are a lot of people born in September. There are also a lot of people, like born in March. It has to do with kids going back to school in September. That's just me.
That's
Anyway,
me. That's me.
and but September 11th. Can we talk about that just briefly? Because I think that September 11th has more significance than not just, than what happened on 9/11 and other things, because other things have happened as well. But April, can you kind of talk about September in general and then the 11th?
Yeah, September 11th. I mean, a lot did happen, Kevin. You were born on that day and came into this world and have blessed all of us. So yeah, it definitely is something to celebrate.
It is.
Well, thank you. Well, and also Johnny Unitas died. You know who Johnny Unitas is? No, you probably don't.
I don't.
He was a quarterback for the Baltimore Colts, and he was my favorite athlete growing up, and he died on September 11th. And so there's a lot of stuff that just seems to like happen on that date or around those. I'd also like you to address the fact of, okay, I was born on 9/11, and was that by divine design that I was born that particular day at that particular time? I would love both of your opinions on that one.
Yeah, let's do it. Abe, let's go.
Okay. I love this because I feel like I can speak specifically and particularly to this because I actually was a birth doula for 10 years. So I was in the delivery room with women as they were having babies. And I attended over 60 births. And then I taught childbirth education classes to hundreds of other couples. And I tell you what, and this was all before I became an astrologist. So even with like scheduled planned births, even with scheduled C-sections, even with inductions, even all of the things, we cannot control that. There is this element, I think we have more control than we think we do. So
yeah.
yes, 100%. I really do believe, like, I mean, so many women that I connected with, or were a support person to, either like I've even seen babies with their heads out, and then like for 2 minutes before the rest of their bodies came out, and they were like considered born. So that first, like, because a baby actually won't take their first breath until the pressure is completely off the chest. And so even if their head is out, they're not fully born until they take their first breath. And so down to the minute, I really do think that we know what energy we're working with, because once I became an astrologer and see people's charts, there is this imprint of the energies of all of the planets imprint on us when we take our first breath. And so it's like our map. It's our specific manual to our lives. And we get to understand ourselves a little bit more based on our natal chart. And what's so fantastic about that is down to the minute we can get information about ourselves, and then move with it and work with it. I do a lot of parenting astrology. And so having families, parents come in and I see a child's chart, it's like, oh, are they this way? Or do they do this? And it's like, we think that we can nurture. There's a level of nurturing and there's a level of nature, right? And I mean, I have 5 of my own kids and they are not the same. If they would be, because I would treat them the same if that was the case, but they are their own individual people.
Yeah.
They have their own maps. So
yeah, I love, it's almost like, our souls, it's that idea that our souls came to have a human experience. And when we come into this world, there's this energetic imprint that then encodes the programming for our human experience. And we forget, and we're not really totally tuned into that. And one of the ways that we can actually see those aspects of those things and get what I call breadcrumbs to our human experience, or hints and clues, or a treasure map, if you will, of our human experience, it is through astrology and Gene Keys and Human Design that April, Christine, and I all do readings for. So it's magical. It is magical.
yeah.
Well, a couple things. First of all, it's amazing to me because between the two of you, you have a baseball team.
I know,
That's true. That is true.
And by the way, for those of you that don't know, that means they're 9
Yeah.
between the two of them. So you guys have been busy. And the second thing that just popped into my head is, well, that didn't pop into my head, but hanging out with just your head hanging out for 2 minutes would be like, so it's kind of like somebody's got a stopwatch going, okay, wait, hold on, okay, go.
Okay. Okay. I know. And on the other side, we're like, oh my gosh, get out.
If my mom is saying, is there something wrong? I need to, yeah.
Right.
Anyway, but is that kind of how it works? Because it has to be exact, doesn't it?
Right. And it's really interesting. I mean, here's the deal, is the moment that you were born is the exact moment. So I've had parents that are like, oh, I feel so bad because I induced, like I scheduled and I induced. And I was like, it's actually super, really cool. How about that? So in human design, what Dana is an expert in is that it takes your astrology or that exact moment of your birth, but then it also actually has astrology from 3 months before you were born. And
Mhm.
so, Dana, I'd love for you to speak to this, but for me, that feels like, oh, okay, we as souls checked in about 3 months before and we're like, okay, the experience that I'm wanting is this specific experience. And so it's like, okay, the way the planets are going to be aligned come at this moment.
Mm.
I would
Yeah.
like to address that when we come back, and Dana and I also want to talk about your the design product that you do, because I think it's
Mhm.
really important. But we need to take a quick break, and that's
Mhm.
right. I live in a 55 plus community, and an emergency vehicle just went by, so I was like,
Mhm.
okay, who's never mind.
Oh.
We'll be right back.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
As you go about your daily life, look closer. As you gather with family and friends who love and support you, look closer. There are youth right in your community who don't have the home, warmth, and healing you have. So look closer. Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. And for 50 years, Covenant House has worked relentlessly to keep them safe and protected. Tonight, 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed. And tomorrow, they will wake up surrounded by love. They get clean clothes, hot meals, medical care, and a safe place to sleep. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In sites across America to help them fulfill the great promise of their lives. So look closer at Covenant House. To help or get help, go to covenanthouse.org.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. You know, we've only been doing this a half hour, and we've already talked about Stonehenge, and we've talked about the pyramids, and we've talked about Mercury retrograde, and we've talked about hanging out of your mother for 2 minutes, and we're talking about it's pretty amazing. And Dana, could you take a moment to describe what it is that you do, because you have impacted me and my life, because it's so funny that when I talk to her, and I don't know, April, if she does this with you, but when she talks to me and she has her chart in front of her, she'll go, oh yeah, that's why you're doing that. I got it. That's, here you are. See, it's right there. And that's what that I could have told her. That's why you're doing what you're doing. And so
Yeah.
anyway, so Dana, please explain.
Yeah. I think, April and I have these really complementary gifts, with April's astrology background, and then my background with Gene Keys and human design, which align really well with the astrology. Human design and Gene Keys are an incredible system that brings together a lot of these ancient ideas of like the I Ching, the Kabbalah, astrology, these really ancient practices and systems, and puts them into a usable system for us to put your information into, and to generate reports unique to you that have your life's work, meaning what you're here to do, your what you're here to learn, what keeps you healthy, which fascinatingly enough is different for every person. For example, mine is laughter. I in order to stay a really healthy person, it's important for me to have laughter and fun in my life. And there's lots of different aspects that come into that for people. So it's different for every person. And then what deeply fulfills you, your purpose. And so with the Gene Keys, and then your human design chart is just how you function best in the world, how to show up, and gives you aspects and understanding about the life that you've lived so far, and gives you wording and verbiage of your strengths and your life moving forward, and how to really cultivate your very best life. And so that can be, who am I? Why am I here? These are really big questions that a lot of people are searching for. And April and I and our team just happen to have some really cool resources that can help individuals find their unique design. And so, you know, one of our favorite things is actually business branding and talking with people about their businesses and how to create a soul fulfilling business based off of their design. That's something April and I love to do. But there's lots of things we can do with that, and it's great information. So if those reports are something you're interested in, we would love. We could talk this all day long, huh?
Yeah, it's true, and we do. So
We do.
Well, so let's do this, because I understand April has my chart pulled up. I know Dana has my chart at the ready always, and I would love for you to kind of give an example of what it's like when the two of you get together and talk to somebody and tag team what they're all about. So I guess it's time for me to get into my underwear so that you guys can all see and be transparent about who I am and what I'm doing. So
I love it.
go
So
for it, kids.
let me pull up what I have and just pull up this screen share. Can you guys see that?
not yet.
I think, yeah, there we go.
Yes.
Okay.
There we go. And then on my end, I'm just going to be kind of tuning into the two reports that I have generated for Kevin to kind of add to April's. But April, let's kind of talk a little bit about like, kind of to answer one of Kevin's questions of what's up with September 11th. And that is his, I know you can't see his birth details. I purposely kept that whited out for privacy purposes for Kevin. But let's look into that. Take a look at that.
Yes. Okay. So September 11th. So like you're right, there's a lot of people born in September, and there's a lot of like historically a lot of things that happen in this in this time of the year. Thank you. I don't know why that was taking me a minute to grasp that word.
Oh, it's September or August. You don't have to. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. It's retrograde. Mercury's in retrograde. We're fine. But for you specifically, there's so September is for the most part Virgo season. Virgo season starts about August 20th to the 22nd, depending on the year, to September 21st to the 23rd. And it is kind of this ending of cycles. There's this ending and new beginning, because Virgo is, well, I mean, just in the year aspect of things, it's right before we have an equinox and before the light and the darkness kind of become equal again, starting Libra season in the middle to end of like around September 22nd, 23rd. And so with the weeks before the equinox, there are a lot of this like cultivation of like, okay, this energy of bringing things to the surface. And so you particularly, you have a Virgo sun. You were born during Virgo season. Virgo sun, you have an Aries moon, which just to give context for other people, our moon sign is what we need to feel safe and secure. And the moon travels around and goes through every single sign, every moon phase. So every month, the moon will travel through every single sign. So it stays in each sign for about 2 to 2.5 days. And then the rising sign is our leadership style. It's how we project ourselves to the world. And this is another one of the 3 big pillars. Our sun, our moon, and our rising sign are 3 big pillar energies in our charts to really establish who we are. And our rising sign, your rising sign particularly, is Libra. And so this like, it's how you project yourself to the world. So the way people experience you, Kevin, is this Libra energy of really connective, really wanting to have harmony and peace and balance. And And again, because Libra rules the house of others, there is this like ability to work with and connect with and really help other people as well. So with your rising sign, every sign goes through the rising sign every day, every 24 hours. So the rising sign actually only so like having a Libra rising, if somebody was born at the exact same time as you, they'd have a Libra rising, but they I guess depending on where they are in the country, if they were in the exact same hospital as you, chances are their degree of Libra rising would actually change, because the degree changes every 4 minutes. And so it shifts, and it's just like all day long, it's just moving around. So that's why down to the minute, it's important to know what your birth time is, because it will give us in-depth information. Some of the few things that I see particularly about you, though, is you have what's called a grand trine. And so this beautiful big blue triangle here, the planets that are involved are Saturn, your moon, and Uranus. And so there's this element of you carrying throughout your life some very supportive energy around who you are emotionally, like feeling your feelings, putting some structure and stability, some foundation around that, but then also being willing to change, being willing to shift, being willing to like, what keeps coming to my mind is I reserve the right to change my mind. So how does that feel to you? Does that
There are people in my life that says, can't you just make a decision and stick with it?
No.
No.
It's actually very supportive to you to make decisions and put some like mastery and foundation around what you're feeling and how you're feeling it. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
Well, most of the decisions I've ever made in my life if they feel good, then that means that I can do them. If they don't feel good, it means stay away from it. It's not going to work.
Well, and can I add to that with Kevin's human design? There's this aspect in your human design chart called authority. The authority is our unique way that we make decisions, that we do decision making. And what's so cool about what Kevin just said, so he's what's called a solar plexus authority, or an emotional authority. And so what Kevin just said is exactly right for him. His decision making it really is this experience where he'll go through pros and cons, kinds of ups and downs with a decision, but then it'll settle in for what he gets to do. And that's when he takes action. If he takes action prior, when it's like the ups and downs, he's flowing through the emotions of it, it actually won't be in alignment with what's best for Kevin. And so all of us actually feel and understand our decisions in different ways. We each have different, what we call authorities. Like me and April and I have sacral authorities. So our sacral is like your gut. It's behind your belly button. And so that is the space that actually we can rely on for our truth. And so, I mean, this is like life-changing, you guys. For those of you who may your life just trying to really rely on logic to make decisions, or just relying on your heart, like those things aren't always going to be your best place to make decisions in your life. So Kevin, you're just spot on with how you're making decisions, and you're living according to your divine design. So congratulations.
Well, thank you. I do have one question for the two of you, and I realize that astronomy and numerology and your design work, they're not necessarily indicative of the future. You can't read somebody's future from it and that kind of stuff. But yesterday we do these 15-minute meetings, and Brachelle was with me, Dana, and she did a great job. I had to leave the call because I got another call and from the Brushwood Media Network, and they had some great stuff. So I talked to Brachelle a little bit later, and she said, Guess what? I said, what? She's got a nationally syndicated television show out of New York, and she wants you to go to New York. Am I going
Wow.
to New York?
Wow. That's a great, I love that. I love that. And Kevin, since that did just happen yesterday, I definitely think there's going to be like pros and cons. Some like there are going to be moments in the upcoming days where it's like, yes, I should, no, I shouldn't. And you're going to flow through that, but you'll settle into your truth. You'll settle into knowing. And in fact, your knowing is in your solar plexus center, which happens to be that spot right where your ribs kind of come together at that V point below your heart, just above your belly button. That's your solar plexus center. So you'll have a knowing there that will tell you what's going to be best for you moving forward with that. And I mean, there's always really great. I mean, I like going to April and saying, hey, can we pull some cards around this? Because that's always kind of fun too. So that's always a possibility.
Dana, that is so weird because when I feel energized or need to make a decision, that's exactly where I feel it. It's right just below my heart, right there in that area.
That makes so much sense. And how cool is that you actually are so tuned in to your body and to your energy centers already without knowing this information. And the best part now about you knowing this information about you, and this goes for anyone and everyone listening. This is the power right here, right now that I really want to showcase. That's the value of understanding this. Kevin now has language to understand that he's living how he's designed. And so he can have a deepening of confidence in his decision-making moving forward. And he doesn't have to waffle, questioning, should I trust that? Should I not? And go back and forth. He can trust his solar plexus moving forward. He can trust that he is going to flow through these emotional waves before he settles into a decision for himself. Now, like for me in April, our decision making, it comes right in the moment for things that present itself in the moment. We can't actually predict the future. If we ask our sacral to questions too far in the future, it won't have answers, because we are here to respond to opportunities that present itself in the moment. And so that's really helped me live more present in the moment and be confident that things that present themselves, that I'll know in the moment and I'll make the right decision for myself based off my authority.
Now we need to take a quick break, but April put a message to you, Dana, to pull up a transit. I have no idea what that means. It's not a bus, I don't think, but she wants you to pull up the transit. And let me take a break while you're doing that, if that will work, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, and we've got some. I love this show. I think we're doing really, really well. So we'll be right back.
They have your eyes. They have your ears. They have your smile. Now all they need is a little more of your time. Make a difference in your child's life, because anyone can be a father. It takes time to be a dad.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. We've got a great show for you. We're going to pull some cards in a few minutes to tell you what's going to happen in the fall. But first, do we have a transit? Do we know what that is?
Yes.
Yes.
So we're gonna come back here.
We're just doing the technical stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
thanks for
what's really cool is when the two of you get
for
together with somebody and you go through this stuff, a lot of the questions that they have about why they do certain things get answered.
Yeah, For sure. And, one of my favorite things that we do at our retreat, and we have this retreat coming up unfortunately, Kevin, it's just for women, but we have in Idaho, we have a retreat coming up called the Wise Woman Retreat, the Wise Woman Revival Retreat. And it's the retreat where we actually take 11 participants, and we take their chart and we actually show them the transits they've been through, which transits are pressure points or these times in our life of great transformation and things that they've been through or that will be coming in their future, so that they can understand the pressure that they might be feeling throughout life. It is actually an incredible space to learn so much about you and to find peace with the past and power with the future. So that's something we highly recommend looking up. You can go to the Wise Woman Revival Retreat if that's something you're interested in, or, reach out to us. April and I do definitely do readings for things like this. So awesome.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can. Thank you. How do you feel about me sharing your chart with your birth details, or should I just keep that off screen? Because I can.
No, I'm good. I am an open book, baby. Because
right.
if we can help somebody, that's what it's all about. But we've only got about 9 minutes left, so I want to make sure we get time to pull cards.
Okay, how about this? I'm going to give you two things that. Well, I'm going to give you one thing that is really pulling out to me in your chart. So a transit chart is essentially how the planets are currently and how they're affecting your natal planets. And so what you might particularly be feeling. And I really love to look at that. When I look at a transit chart, I look at the outer planets. So Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, Saturn even, because they move a lot more slowly. And so therefore their impact is a little bit more lasting, instead of like a week of whatever you're feeling with Mars and Jupiter, and days with Venus and Mercury. So as I look at the outer planets and what's happening with you, one thing that I noticed particularly is, for some reason, I can't get I actually have never shared my screen on StreamYard, and it is, it's giving me some error stuff. So we're just.
Oh, did you click on present?
I did, but it's okay, because we want to pull cards. So we're gonna make that happen. The big thing I'm seeing right now is the planet Saturn. Saturn is the planet that really wants you to master things, really wants you to build a foundation. Wherever Saturn goes, he kind of shakes the foundation and is like, okay, where do we need to shore up things and make sure things are going to weather the storm? And for you, Saturn just moved into your 6th house of health and occupation and daily routines. So this, for the next about 2 to 2.5 years, Saturn's really going to want you to focus on setting up some structure around your daily routines, waking up in the morning and having a to-do list, or doing something that is going to make it so that it's like, I have some structure around this day. I feel productive and proactive. Also your health, getting proactive with your health. And we're already seeing some interesting new developments with your occupation as well, with people reaching out and wanting some connection points with you, and from syndicated shows and things that are pretty impressive. So it's going to be interesting to see what Saturn wants you to master as he moves through your 6th house. The other thing about Saturn is he is currently opposing exactly your sun, your natal sun, which really that kind of brings about this sense of like, it's kind of this opposition effect of like, okay, my responsibilities versus who I am. Like it's almost this like, what is it called when you tug of war? It's almost like this war.
Yep.
Between your responsibilities and who I am, who I want to be, what I'm meant to do. And so you might find that there might be some limitations or some restrictions that come in around like but I really wanted to do this, or I really feel drawn to this. And it's like, there might be some things that are like, come up as roadblocks in your life. And it doesn't mean that that's a no for you, or it doesn't mean that you were off in your intuition as far as like, oh, I felt really strongly I should do this, and I just keep getting block after block. No, it's just Saturn that's wanting you to be like, okay, we want you to master the process. We want you to become really, you got to learn the lesson. So it's just more of like, okay, just persevere. Learn, like, open yourself up to what the lesson is, what Saturn is kind of blocking the path for you to learn. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely, because it's a journey, and you're getting better at what you do all the time, and there is a level of which I know for a fact that in my case, there's a level of expertise that I have to attain so that when I hit the stage that I'm destined to hit, I will be able to master it with ease.
Yes, there you go. Master it with ease. That's perfect. Yes. Okay.
That's the thing. So
how do you feel about some cards?
Let's do some cards real quick.
Let's do some cards. Okay. So because Dana and I actually had an appointment earlier today, and we pulled some cards, and I was really loving the way the questions that were coming out with that one. So I'm going to focus on those. The first thing that I pulled was from this the Power of Surrender cards by Judith Orloff, MD. And so this is this with the Mercury in retrograde, with kind of this kind of death and rebirth energy that's happening right now. What's something that we collectively, whoever's listening here, that was my intention, what do we need to surrender? And I actually love what came up. Surrender your fear of change. Where you're talking, Kevin's super good at change. So the rest of us need to actually surrender the fear of change. What it says at the bottom is the universe is reminding you that you are cared for always, whether you're afraid of change in your job, your health, or a relationship, or if you fear aging or death. Repeat the affirmation, I have faith that all is well. That's awesome. Beautiful.
Wow.
Okay, so the next question is, now I'm using a tarot deck. This is the Light Seers deck by Chris Ann. It's one of my favorites. The question I'm asking is, what action do we need to take? So whenever you're listening to this show, what action do you need to take from here on? Yes, for the month. Okay, we've got the Two of Wands. And this is planned change. This is deciding to go like adventure, do something fun, do something different, get out of your comfort zone. I love the visual because there's a visual of two wands, and one of the wands is looking in the, or is leaning up against the corner inside the room where it's comfortable, where it's always been. And then there's another wand where she is pointing out the window and looking longingly out the window. And we see some global, like a globe there, and some like a travel thing where, so this energy, the action is to what is going to put you outside of your comfort zone? What is something that you have felt really big about that feels like, oh, I can't do that because that's too huge, but it really is just, you're afraid because it's the unknown. And then it's making some planned action around it. So actually researching, is it as big as you think it is? Is it as expensive as you think it is? I decided I wanted to move to the south of France one rough menstrual cycle. And I realized that the real estate in the south of France is actually comparable to here. And I assumed it would be like, oh, we're talking gajillions of dollars. And I was like, oh, this is doable. So, you just never know. So do some research, take some planned action around it.
That could go for the trip you're thinking about, Kevin.
I know. I was going to do that. I was going to look at airfares and hotels. Now I haven't talked to them yet, and I don't know whether this is going to happen or not, but it's just, I gotta tell you, girl, since I've started working with Dana in the last several years and working with April and stuff, it's getting crazy how much it's growing. And also, I want to ask you this, because in the fall with Kamala Harris and her attitude and what's happening with them and what's happening with Trump and the other guy, there seems to be a groundswell of positivity that is kind of coming from the ground up, and it's capturing the imagination of a lot of people. Is that Dana? What do you think about that?
I mean, I think it's going to be incredible to see what takes place and what happens. And I do think that our emotional temperature, meaning where we're at emotionally and what we are envisioning, can make a big difference in our future. And so this is the time of year where I really encourage people to watch out for the fear mongering and watch out for the purposeful powerlessness that people put out, because I think that takes away our power. And if you can keep and hold a space of the best outcome for the collective as a whole, and know that whatever happens is that, I think that we all will be more peaceful in the long run. So, April, do you have anything you want to add to the
Oh, I love it. I actually think that's probably the best advice, because there's a lot of people out there that there's political astrologers that will give you like rundowns on each of the candidates. They will even give you like, oh, this is what the sky looks like in November. And so you can go and then obviously political commentary, like all of the things. But really there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise out there. And first and foremost, check in with yourself, because that is the truth. And anyone that is touting fear, I don't recommend that it's worth your energy.
Not in the least. And that's why my independence report now is back, because we are working to get out of hate, division, and fear. If people want to contact you guys because you are just so good, April, how do they contact you?
Yes. The best way to contact me is thewisewomanworld.com. It shows all of the beautiful products and ways that you can work with me and what I have to offer.
Say that one more time.
thewisewomanworld.com. www. Just kidding.
That's adorable. And Dana?
Yeah, same. April, Christina, and I and our other business partner, Lena, now are all coming together as one in an incredible synergy to put on retreats. We have a coaching program. We have a subscription with journaling questions and once a month coaching courses called Infinite Prosperity. And we have the work with the moon. So those all should be in the show notes. So look there, look below to find those. And I've sent those over to your assistant, Kevin, to make sure that those get in there. So that's the best place to find us.
That's perfect. And these retreats that you guys go on, they are important. They have a hot tub, and it's not necessarily as secluded as you might like, but that's a story for another time. So we'll talk about it.
It's more than a hot tub. It's hot springs.
Natural hot springs.
Natural hot springs.
Cool.
Very good. Ladies, thank you so much for being here. And this is as always a lot of fun. So stay there. I'll be right back. Thanks for listening to this episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Our purpose is to provide everyone with a positive, entertaining, and educational experience. I would love your feedback and comments about the show, including possible topics and great guest suggestions. Please email me at kevin@kmmedia.pro. And remember, be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got. That's Kevin at